Zombie Captain Marvel is now here in Marvel Snap, or at least by the time you watch this video, because we're now currently about 2.5 hours roughly before it drops, at least my time. And it's good or garbage. You know the drill. We're going to take a look at the new card, pinpoint a couple of decks to try out the new card with, and get a quick assessment of, is this card worth your tokens day one? With this one in particular, it's not your typical zombie, okay? So Zombie Captain Marvel is a 4/4 activate. Again, another 4-cost activate being brought to the party. Destroy your other cards here to get +3 power for each. Move to a location you're losing. Now, there's a couple of things with this card, okay? Face value. +3 is a scary number. We've seen +3s on several different cards get nerfed into oblivion. That leans to this wanting to be good, because it's also one of the higher outputs for a 4-cost card. It's a 4/13 into a single lane. But the downside is it moves to a location you're losing. So if you're activating this on the final turn, you are straight up throwing that lane, because it's going to be very difficult for it to want to stay in a lane that it's losing and then win that lane. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So this is a 2-lane deck card. A lot of the decks that are going to want to play Zombie Captain Marvel are decks that are saying, I am going to throw this lane, and I'm telling you that by the turn I drop it, whether it's 3, 4, or 5. And I just don't see a lot of places where Zombie Captain Marvel ends up being bad, because destroy elements are always fun. Everybody likes destroy things, but the right destroy things is another thing to think about. So let's talk about the decks and why I think certain builds lean more towards her and others don't. So first off, I'm going to start with Marvel Le Fay. So it's a Morgan Le Fay style deck with Airwalker. Airwalker is doing one of two things. It's either bringing out Morgan Le Fay to bring your 1-cost cards back, or it's bringing out Zombie Captain Marvel for you to throw more stuff into to destroy it. And with Firehair, in conjunction with all of those destroy elements, and you've got all these great effects from Silver Sable, Rocket Raccoon, America Chavez, and Nico, which I was constantly back and forth with. I was really back and forth about if I wanted Nico on this last piece, but I think that her effects overall benefit this style of deck. So that's probably your 12th card that's a flex, kind of? It's kind of a 12th card flex, but the whole purpose of the deck is destroy the things and make them happen multiple times. That's what Morgan Le Fay wants you to do. There's no need for cost reduction because everything that wants to come back is going to be 1 cost, or it's a death that's going to be free because of all of the repeats that happen via the Firehair. So I do think that there's a lot of cool things, not you, Ben, a lot of things that are going to happen here for this archetype. Now, in the past, Airwalker and Morgan Le Fay has had some fun, unique pieces. We've seen it do well in the Golden Gauntlet. I wonder if Zombie Captain Marvel is going to create that 4th destroy option that with Firehair ends up being what this deck needs to say on turn 6, I am willing to throw, and give another piece that, hey, listen, you missed on your Rocket Raccoon on turn 6. You're about to lose that lane. Oh, wait, no, you're not. I'm destroying and then moving to that lane that you're losing because you whiffed on Rocket Raccoon. That's what gave me the original inspiration for the deck, and I think that it's going to stack very tall in 2 lanes because of it. Speaking of destroy, Dormammu Thanos Death Destroy Chaos. This is crushing rocks. I went back and forth on this build because I wanted to find a way that had a mixture of wanting to destroy all of the things, but benefit more than just your standard destroy deck. And this deck wants to do that. This deck wants you to have Headpool, Bucky Barnes, and Nova get destroyed. You want the extra power onto the board, and especially the Nova, if you get it down early, hey, that's fine. You don't need to have a null, because thought about it instead of Shang-Chi, but you don't need to have it because you're putting some of that power back into the Dormammu as well. Easy with Angel on these Dormammu decks has been really, really consistent, but Zombie Captain Marvel is going to give a lot of outs as well, because this is a deck that does not go wide. This is another deck that says, look, I have individual big card here, individual big card here, and individual big card here. It's why I didn't put Venom into the deck, because you've got Dormammu, you've got Death, you've got Thanos, you've got Zombie Captain Marvel. Can you swap out Deathlock? Absolutely. But do you need to for this deck? I honestly don't think so. It is the swap if you're going to make a swap. Shang-Chi is just the Shang-Chi card that the card that benefits Death, that provides a little bit of tech in there as well. And I think Zombie Captain Marvel is going to want to have a nice throw a couple stones, Nova and Bucky, activate on turn 6, extra synergy that's cheap to do when you're putting down your 2-cost spell that summons the Dormammu. And I think that turn 6 and that allocation of power and the ordering of it is incredibly important, because when you choose to activate versus summon Dormammu could stack power wide, it could move power, it can reallocate that power a second time through. I think there's some really cheeky things that can be done with trying to guess where the power is going to go because of this deck. It would be a lot of fun if it worked. We will find out momentarily, comparatively. Now let's move on to Revival Galore. This is, look, I'm going to destroy it, I'm going to bring it back. I've got Elixir, who's going to revive a destroyed card. I got Phoenix Force, who's going to revive a destroyed card. I've got Firelord, who's going to revive a destroyed 3-cost card. And you want to destroy your 3-cost cards because you're going to get extra rocks, you're going to get a double Sage, or you're going to get a double cast Nova by having Firehair also have it proc off multiple times. So destroy the things, whether it's Zombie Captain Marvel activating on 5, Misery on 4. I decided to go with Zabu because there are 4 costs in this deck. Could I have thrown in something like a Hood? Absolutely. Did I want to? Yes. Did I just decide to go Kid Omega instead to get some extra benefit from Firehair? Yes. That's your flex piece in there, is your Kid Omega, because I just wanted to have a secure extra destroy line on an earlier turn rather than only be looking at, okay, Misery is destroying on at earliest turn 4, same with Zombie Captain Marvel, earliest turn 5. Venom doesn't really have any early destroy targets. You're still looking at turn 4 or 5 either way. So that's the idea of Revival Galore, is you never know where the power is going to go. Get the Firehair, who's going to be a critical card this week, which means you're going to see a lot of, Cosmic Ghost Rider, let's be honest here. But I think it's going to be a very fun card for this type of a destroy deck of where is it going? I have no idea. We'll find out. Lastly, one of the synergies that people are talking about the most is Nimrod. And Nimrod with Zombie Captain Marvel as an extra destroy because you've got the line early, because you didn't get the Shuri or Symbiote line, is a great way to allocate extra power and cause redirect extra power on the final turn. So it's not just the predictable, where's the Carnage and where's the Venom. You throw down that Zombie Captain Marvel, now you can activate it if you wish, but sometimes you might not want to. Sometimes you're just playing the juke game of, I've got 3 different destroys, 3 different lanes, where are they going? And that competitive advantage is really interesting. Same thing with the Fallen One. I decided to put Fallen One in here because it's a deck that wants to do big plays on the final turn, but we're still seeing a bunch of Mobius out there. This isn't about cheat. This is about get the extra power out there. So you could go the whole magic into Symbiote Spider-Man, into Shuri, into Fallen One, and then just cause chaos all over the place with this deck. That works too, because you've got really tall cards, destroying on the final turn, get the Nimrods all over the place, get the Black Panther, Zola, Venom, copy, paste, everything. There's a lot you can do with extra power on the final turn, whether you have a turn 7 or not. I think Zombie Captain Marvel has that nice juke ability that, you know what? A Nimrod deck's going to want to do that. It's going to want to have fun with that. It's going to want to also help to get rid of the Magic, the Shuri, all of the other cards there that don't want to be there because you want to clear up space. Magic, Shuri, Zombie Captain Marvel, Nimrod in a lane is really, really good, especially depending on how the ordering goes when it comes to the activate. And that's one of the things I'm most excited to test out with this deck, is the timing in which Zombie Captain Marvel does the move in that activate ability. Does it happen at the end of the turn? Does it happen in the middle of the turn after the duplications happen from the Nimrods? That ordering is going to be important to learn, so it's going to have a little bit of a longer learning curve, but I think it's going to be an incredibly valuable piece to this archetype. So with that said, is Zombie Captain Marvel going to be a good card? I have no idea. I want it to be a good card because it's a 4/13, and the meta right now speaks very highly to not having 3 lanes to win. It's really focusing on 2. So this is a card that's going to want to benefit that. But the forecasting of saying I'm probably losing this lane now is a little bit scary. So we'll see what's going to happen. Stay tuned, because now is the normal time travel. Cheers. And yeah, now we've time traveled. So now it's the future. I won't tell you how far though. And far enough into the future for me to know that Zombie Captain Marvel is a card. Allow me to explain. So after trying out the Marvel Le Fay deck, this was the variation for Morgan Le Fay. There are some great play lines in this. There really are. However, I think it needs a little more refinement. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that refinement is, but it needs a little more refinement. It needs a little more power. It might be taking out Nico for the hood or something along those lines. But this deck is very close to being competitive. With that said, the gap between very close and successful is massive, which we'll come back to. The Dormammu Thanos deck, this was the best performing deck of all of the builds that I had. The problem with it, though, is that Dormammu consistently felt like it was throwing off the curve. Because you have Zombie Captain Marvel who wants to drop on turn 4. You really don't feel good playing her on turn 5. You really need her on turn 4. And because of that, you feel like you can't do the Dormammu thing the way you want to, which is turn 3, destroy something, play the first one. Turn 4, do the reduction. Turn 5, bring it back. Or turn 6, depending on priority needs. And it just felt off because you want to fill turn 4 with Zombie Captain Marvel. So then you're behind on doing what you want to do on the whole Dormammu. So you're basically always picking. And I thought it would be more synergetic in that sense, but there are elements from this that I did like. The Bucky Barnes synergy, the Angel synergy, those worked out great for Zombie Captain Marvel. I thought it was really solid. There are lessons to take from this deck, but I don't think it's the best home for Zombie Captain Marvel. The full-on revival deck with Elixir and Phoenix Force and Fire Lord, for lack of a better term, sucked. Nimrod, though, was interesting. Because Nimrod, I do think long-term, a version of this ends up being Zombie Captain Marvel's best home. Long-term. It's not a Fallen 1 build. Fallen 1 kept feeling clunky. And as an emergency backup line, still didn't let me do the things I wanted to do with the deck. So I think that there's another version of this build somewhere that goes crazy. And it's probably just subbing out Zombie Captain Marvel for something else. But if you are running a Zombie Captain Marvel deck, it's take out the Fallen 1. And probably Mr. Fantastic First Steps. Maybe a Surge does better. You know, something, maybe a little energy in a different way at a cheaper mana. Like that's what I kind of think you're looking at for this build to make it work. Because results-wise, I mean, you can see the Dormammu deck, like I said, best performing deck so far with the builds that I've tested in version 1 of this card. The Nimrod deck had promise, but it felt just a little too clunky with Fallen One and Mr. Fantastic First Steps. It felt a little too clunky. It's very close to good, but it's going to need a couple more pieces in the future to truly make it that. I don't even think Kid Omega was the right play here, but if anything, the Revival deck desperately wanted Black Panther. Because, I mean, it went 3 and 7. I was absolutely awful with this. The Marvel LeFay deck, as you see, did very bad as well. But it's really close to being on a massive change. Like, massive change in win rate and games played. And I know that's hard to see when you see those statistics, but when you play the deck, you realize how much flexibility it actually has. The Airwalker synergy with Zombie Captain Marvel is definitely the line you probably want to go on. It really is. That's the line you want to go on, because you don't have to play it. It just happens. So I'm going to take pieces of that. I'm going to take the Angel piece, the Bucky piece. I'm going to start building more and more decks because I think that this card is good. My decks were garbage. So there are elements that I want to recap on this of the synergy pieces that make the card good because of the mistakes I learned along the way, okay? Number one, Thanos was good, but Thanos without Dormammu, I think, is a much better play for Zombie Captain Marvel. The Nimrod deck needs to have more pieces to burn for Zombie Captain Marvel to be effective in there. The Revival piece here needs more umphy on reveals to revive via Elixir, Phoenix Force, Fire Lord. Like when you did the whole Fire Lord, Cassandra Nova, Sage thing, felt great when that line went off. But that was the only time it felt great. It has nothing to do with Zombie Captain Marvel. It needs more oomph on turn 5 destruction by playing a turn 5 card. That's why I think Black Panther from this build would be better in here. Have Zombie Captain Marvel activate on 5 to destroy the Black Panther and then bring it back with Elixir or Phoenix Force on 6. That's what I think. That's what I honestly think. And then the Morgan Le Fay deck, very close. I think the Hood has to be in here to get the power over the top. I think the Rocket Raccoon actually might be the card to take out, because if you whiff hard. Got a lot of benefit from America Chavez, definitely got good benefit from Silver Sable. There's a build of this that does well. It needs another package built in it, though. I loved Airwalker pulling Zombie Captain Marvel and Morgan Le Fay, or having the option to have Zombie Captain Marvel destroy the Airwalker to bring out the Morgan Le Fay for free on turn 5. That felt good, which means turn 5 is available for doing other synergy things, and that's what I want to figure out, is something within here to make this go absolutely nuts. So is the card good or garbage? I honestly think the card is good, because of the synergies that I saw in the bad decks when the thing did the thing, right? When it actually did really good things, you realize the power of the card. But I definitely went about it wrong. And I admit that. I know where I went wrong. And I'm excited for the next couple of weeks to experiment with this card and do different destroy builds, especially as we lean into December, where it's really about destroy. So if you like what the data mines have said so far about December, this is definitely a card you're going to want to pick up. If you're a destroy player or a Thanos player, I think this is a card to pick up. But it does open the door for more destroy revival archetype things to happen. And I think between all of those pieces together, it justifies the card as good. I'm just going to straight out say the decks that I have in this video, I am not putting in the description down below because I will not recommend them to you. I hope you got out of this video the synergy pieces for you to start working with. What worked, what didn't, and why not. So take that and put down in the comments below, what's the deck that you're running with this card, or what synergy do you want to mess with the most from the lessons of this video? I do think that there's some really cool things for Zombie Captain Marvel in the future, but as of right now, it needs more testing, and that's what I plan on doing. So thank you so much. I know the video's late versus its normal posting, but as always, like and subscribe down below because still a majority of people who watch the videos are not subscribed. And it really tremendously helps the channel and the search on these videos when you hit that thumbs up or hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all of you, and as always, I'll see you next time.